Ever get that feeling that team disagreements are just sucking the life out of your
Oh,
productivity?
yeah, like this constant drain, right? An energy zap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what if, those very clashes could actually fuel innovation, make your team stronger?
Well, that's what's fascinating. We're looking at active listening today and how it can potentially flip that script entirely.
Flip the script.
Ah,
How so?
we're going to dive deep into how it can really transform conflict from being a roadblock into more of a catalyst for better ideas, for tighter collaboration,
And that seems absolutely essential now with how fast work environments are changing.
especially as AI becomes more integrated. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crucial.
right. So we've gathered some really insightful sources for this deep dive, stuff looking at team dynamics, the surprising power of really listening.
And why it's such a game changer in agile product and service management, and of course, in teams working with AI.
We'll even touch on how our everyday communication styles impact how well we collaborate,
So, the goal today really is to give you some clear, hands on techniques and, highlight why these skills aren't just soft skills.
not just nice to haves.
Definitely not. They're must have tools for navigating disagreements effectively and ultimately building teams that can, well, weather pretty much any storm.
Okay, so let's kick things off by looking at conflict itself. It's a common assumption, isn't it, that any kind of disagreement is just bad news.
Right. But actually, it often means people are invested. It signals engagement, diverse perspectives being present.
Yeah, I've seen that. The teams that are really pushing the envelope, the high performers, they often seem to have more conflict.
Exactly. Because their members are passionate, they care deeply about the outcome, they bring different ways of seeing things, and yeah, sometimes sparks fly.
And those sparks, they can ignite something positive.
That's the potential, yes. When different perspectives, even, opposing ones, come together and you manage to pull the best from each,
The result can be better than any single idea.
way better, potentially, than anything anyone came up with on their own.
It reminds me of this story I heard about a leader who uh, genuinely believed conflict was necessary. Like if people weren't arguing, they weren't engaged.
Wow. Intense meetings, I bet.
Apparently legendary, maybe a bit, much, possibly bordering on unhealthy even.
Well, it does highlight a crucial balancing act, doesn't it? That leaders saw the value in diverse viewpoints, which is great.
But the environment might have been a bit too adversarial.
Perhaps. But the core idea that encouraging different perspectives can lead to superior outcomes, that's spot on. When everyone feels their voice matters, the end result is often richer, more robust.
And this connects right into agile product and service management, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The frameworks themselves, think retrospectives, planning sessions, even those quick daily stand-ups, they create natural spaces for these discussions.
So tensions can surface early, which can be good.
If handled well, yes. With skilled facilitation, those moments can be incredibly productive. They can really push the team towards the best solutions.
But there's a flip side.
There is. Without good facilitation and, crucially, psychological safety, that feeling that it's okay to speak up, take risks, be vulnerable.
Then those discussions can go right off the rails.
Totally. It's a delicate balance. Get it right, harness the positive power, get it wrong.
And those simmering tensions create divides, sabotage progress.
Exactly. Especially in complex areas like, say, AI development, where misunderstandings can have big consequences.
Which brings us neatly to the power of active listening in turning conflict around.
Yeah, our sources really emphasize this. Most attempts at resolving disagreements fail because people are too busy thinking about their reply.
Listening to reply, not to understand.
Precisely. You're so locked into formulating your counter-argument that you don't actually absorb what's being said. You hear words, maybe, but don't process the meaning with an open mind.
And there's neuroscience behind this, right?
There is. It's fascinating. Feeling genuinely heard actually dials down the brain's threat response.
So when we actively listen, make someone feel understood.
We're literally shifting their brain chemistry, moving them from that fight or flight defensive state into a more collaborative, creative mindset. It's neurologically calming,
So active listening builds psychological safety. It signals that views are valued.
which encourages people to step out of defensive mode and engage more openly. That's where the real progress happens.
And this ties back to agile culture for product and service management.
Directly. It supports the respect pillar. Truly listening is showing respect. It reframes conflict
From a battle to win.
to a contribution of different perspectives, all aimed at a shared goal. It's a meeting of minds. not just trying to be right.
And in AI contexts, this is even more critical.
Absolutely. Misunderstandings between, say, business stakeholders and the engineers building the system, they can escalate fast if active listening isn't there to catch them early.
Okay, so let's get practical. How do we navigate these tricky conflict conversations?
A great starting point is just agreeing on the intent of the conversation itself,
How do you mean?
like saying something up front. Okay, let's make sure we both feel understood before we try to solve anything. Set the stage.
Right. Prioritize understanding over winning or solutions initially. Using phrases like, help me understand your thinking here.
Or, what's really important to you about this?
Yeah.
Show genuine interest.
And our body language plays a big role too, doesn't it? Silently.
Huge. Even unintentional cues, leaning in too aggressively, pointing, crossing arms, looking away.
Interrupting.
Oh, interrupting sends a loud message that their view isn't valued. It can instantly put someone on the defensive.
What about techniques like echo back?
Very useful, but it's not just parroting words back.
No, it's paraphrasing their message in your words.
Exactly. It's your interpretation. And then you ask for confirmation. So what I'm hearing you say is, did I get that right?
Gives them a chance to clarify if you've missed something.
Mm-hmm. And during these discussions, it's vital to balance advocating for your own ideas with inquiring about others.
So state your views, yes, but stay curious.
Genuine curiosity about why others see things differently. And if you're facilitating, make sure everyone gets a voice, especially the quieter ones. Draw them out.
And then you might hit that phase, the groan zone, some call it, where direct disagreement happens.
Right. And it's okay to say, I'm not sure I see it that way. The key is keeping it respectful.
Keep listening actively, even when it gets animated.
Emotions might be higher, but respect shouldn't disappear. Skilled facilitation guides the team through this towards convergence, finding common ground.
Synthesizing ideas.
Exactly. And reminding everyone to keep listening, especially in those tense moments, is crucial.
Setting up team agreements beforehand can help too, right?
Definitely. Like a no-blame rule, focus on solutions, not fault.
So if a mistake happens, the energy goes into fixing it together.
Precisely. The team faces the challenge, and using I statements helps.
Instead of accusatory you statements, I believe, or I see it this way.
Generally safer, more constructive, though be mindful of cultural nuances with second-person plurals.
And that simple habit of paraphrasing key decisions.
Invaluable. Just reflecting back the main points agreed upon. Okay, so we decided X and Y, checks alignment quickly.
The more people do it, the faster you catch misunderstandings.
And look, even with all these techniques, misunderstandings will still happen. We're human.
But these practices reduce how often and how bad they get.
Lets you address things much earlier.
And teams should think about venue too. Group versus one-on-one.
Good point. Sensitive or really emotional topics might be better handled privately, often allows for more focused listening than a tense group setting.
And finally, this takes practice. It's a skill to build.
Absolutely. Make it a habit to reflect after disagreements, even small ones. Think about what was said. Maybe revisit it later for clarity. Prevents escalation, builds better habits.
Okay, now let's shift gears a bit. How is AI changing the game here? Introducing new conflict dynamics.
Well, as AI gets integrated into workflows, it can really disrupt established roles and routines.
Which can spark fear, resistance, confusion.
All of the above. People might worry their skills are becoming obsolete, which can make them less open to listening, more defensive.
And even small automations can shift perceived status.
It's subtle, but yes. The go-to expert might feel less valued if an AI handles routine tasks now, creates insecurity, hinders listening.
So active listening becomes even more crucial.
Absolutely. To uncover those underlying anxieties about AI, people might hesitate to voice concerns, worried about sounding resistant to tech.
Need that safe space. Asking things like, tell me more about what's behind that hesitation.
Exactly. And view the conflict itself as data. It's not just interpersonal friction.
It can signal a mismatch between people, process, or the AI tech.
Precisely. Paying attention to those conflicts reveals blind spots you might otherwise miss.
So listening to conflicts during AI implementation is like an early warning system.
It can be. Highlighting where the AI isn't meeting real-world needs or where human considerations were overlooked. Addressing these through listening helps avoid negative consequences down the line.
Which brings us back to respect, especially in agile product and service management culture.
Yes. Research shows a huge chunk of workplace errors stem from miscommunication. Not lack of skill, not bad intent, just miscommunication.
So in agile teams, especially those using AI, Clear communication isn't a luxury.
It's essential. And active listening is the bedrock of respect, psychological safety, trust, all key for high-performing teams now.
Many places adopt agile frameworks, but miss the cultural piece.
They do. The 4 pillars: context, mindfulness, respect, trust are critical. And respect, built through listening, is the foundation.
It's easy to think we're good listeners, though.
But often we're just waiting to speak, dismissing, defending, formulating our response, maybe interrupting.
That's not listening.
No. Active listening is intentionally setting aside judgment, giving full attention, and echoing back understanding. Not just words, but meaning.
And that signals their perspective matters. Build safety.
And respect, fostered through listening, encourages contribution. People feel safer speaking up early if something's wrong.
Which catches issues when they're small.
Exactly. Now, the pace of work is fast, and AI can make it feel even faster, tempting to skip the talking.
Yeah, assume everyone's aligned without checking.
But while AI speeds up tasks, it shouldn't compress human conversation.
So the time gained from AI
Should be reinvested in deeper dialogue. Our unique value, nuance, interpretation, insight comes from that thoughtful conversation.
Active listening realigns teams by surfacing hidden assumptions, identifying roadblocks early.
Especially in high stakes or personal chats, yes. It prompts us to ask. In our last team talk, did everyone feel heard? Did we confirm shared understanding?
And think about the costs of miscommunication. Wasted time, trust, rework.
Active listening helps prevent all that. It's an act of respect, ensuring tech serves human needs, preserving our humanity.
Let's zoom in on those costs, particularly in agile product and service management teams using AI. Rework is a huge issue.
It really is. Studies suggest what? 30 to 50% of project effort can be just redoing work because of communication breakdown?
That's staggering. A massive waste.
And a key area where active listening often gets short shrift is backlog management. Creating, workshopping, refining those product backlog items.
These are crucial communication junctions.
But hidden assumptions, vague language, they can creep in easily and derail things later.
Especially workshopping. Often rushed, right?
Or misunderstood. It's not just making a list. It's about the team collectively getting a deep understanding of the problem they're solving. Uncovering ambiguities, aligning expectations, asking, what's the user's real pain point?
And that echo back technique during backlog discussions.
So effective. Catches misalignments early, prevents that costly rework down the cycle. Teams doing this consistently report fewer delays, happier stakeholders.
Listening during story creation helps uncover the real intent, too.
Definitely. A stakeholder might suggest solution A, but by listening to their underlying need, you might find solution B is simpler, better, something they hadn't even considered.
So, practical tips for backlog sessions. Build in pauses.
Intentional pauses for reflection, clarification. Make listening a shared team responsibility. Everyone speaks up if confused. Everyone confirms understanding.
Make it visible. Docs, diagrams.
Yes. Document assumptions, acceptance criteria. Make the discussion concrete.
And the payoff is clear. Less rework, fewer mid-sprint questions.
Stakeholders saying, yes, that's spot on. It saves significant time and resources.
Because even if AI generates code fast,
it needs the right instructions. If the problem's misunderstood due to poor listening, AI just produces the wrong solution faster. Human conversation, grounded in listening, is still essential.
So reflect on your own backlog sessions. Is there true alignment on intent? Are questions encouraged? Is there room for curiosity?
Now let's talk human-centered AI implementation, because active listening is vital here too.
There's a high failure rate for AI projects, right?
Right.
Often because the tech overshadows the people.
Worryingly high, yes. Over 70% in some studies. Often, the focus is purely technical, neglecting the humans the AI is meant to serve.
So human-centered design, built on active listening, is key. Building on those agile product and service management foundations.
Absolutely essential. Without understanding the purpose from a human view, even brilliant AI can miss the mark completely.
Like AI optimizing for pure efficiency, but compromising safety or well-being.
Exactly. Autonomous vehicles prioritizing speed over safety, healthcare algorithms overlooking patient health for cost savings. These aren't just glitches, they show a disconnect from human values.
And not listening broadly leads to bias.
A huge risk. AI systems reflecting only the limited perspectives of their creators can lead to seriously unfair outcomes.
So step one for responsible AI implementation, a structured listening framework.
Has to be. Map all stakeholders, direct users, those indirectly impacted. Hold intentional listening sessions. Understand needs, not just gather feature requests.
Use techniques like the 5 whys.
Great for digging deeper. The example of someone asking for churn prediction.
But what they really need is proactive support before churn happens.
Exactly. Deeper listening uncovers the real problem.
The contrasting examples you mentioned were powerful. Supply chain AI disrupting workflows.
Versus the warehouse AI designed with staff input, which integrated seamlessly and was highly adopted. Listening made the difference.
So reinvest time saved by AI into more listening.
Yes. Build listening checkpoints into every phase, not just the start. Document insights. Create safe feedback spaces. Explicitly confirm understanding. Here's what we heard. Did we get that right?
And the results. Higher adoption, less rework.
Teams feeling heard. AI systems align with human needs and principles. Technology solves problems effectively only when it solves the right ones.
Which requires truly listening first. So before your next AI pilot,
Yeah.
have you really listened?
Okay, now for something maybe a bit unexpected, how interacting with AI might affect how we talk to humans.
How so? Sounds a bit sci-fi.
Well, think about patterns. Our brains reinforce them. Every time we command an AI do this, find that, we practice a direct command style.
Right, we're reinforcing that pattern in our own minds.
Exactly. And while saying generate that report immediately, to a colleague sounds absurd.
That is how we often talk to AI.
And the subtle risk, as AI becomes ubiquitous, is that these commanding patterns seep into our human interactions subconsciously.
But surely we can code switch. Talks
Yeah.
one way to AI, another to people.
We like to think so. But psychology suggests the most practiced pattern often becomes dominant, like muscle memory.
So aiming for respectful communication all the time is better.
It benefits all interactions, yes. You might ask, why be polite to AI? It's not for the AI, it's for us.
To safeguard our ability to communicate well with humans, keep that collaborative muscle strong.
Precisely. And this fits with agile values for product and service management, emphasizing human interaction. Maybe think of AI more like a potential team member.
Not just a tool to order around. If you wouldn't treat human teammates like tools.
Why treat AI that way, especially with these increasingly human-like interfaces?
Interesting twist. AI could be a practice ground for communication skills.
Potentially. Low-stakes environment to practice clear explanations, constructive feedback, without the social pressure.
Like the code review example. Find errors versus
Could you please review this code and highlight potential issues or areas for improvement? More collaborative.
and often gets better results from the AI too.
It often does. More context helps the model. So the core message is mindfulness. Notice your AI patterns.
Ask, would I talk to a colleague this way?
Make a conscious effort to practice respectful, collaborative communication, even with AI. See it as practice for human interactions.
Because the future relies on human AI collaboration, built on human skills.
Especially in product and service management, yes. Strong human communication is key. So ask yourself, what AI communication patterns are you falling into? What small adjustments could ensure your style works for both tech and people?
Okay, final big topic. That persistent gap between great business ideas and actual delivery in product and service development.
Ah, yes, the business implementation divide. A source of much frustration. Stifles innovation, impacts customers, hurts competitiveness.
We're diving into its roots, consequences, and how AI might bridge it, or maybe even widen it.
Building on how Agile for product and service management already tried to tackle this, the mission is, how do we ensure AI brings people together?
Where did this divide start?
Sources point back to the dot-com boom, the limits of traditional waterfall project management for rapid digital innovation. Agile arose specifically to break down those silos for product and service work.
But Agile didn't completely eliminate it everywhere.
Not always. Different perspectives linger. Business might see implementation as just a cost center.
While implementation teams feel overwhelmed, undervalued, dealing with shifting demands.
And the fallout is bigger than late projects. It affects understanding customer needs, losing that competitive edge.
Like that example of the huge customer portal project. Over
Yeah.
budget, missing features, bugs, missed market window.
All stemming from that disconnect. Now, AI can be a double-edged sword here.
Alignment becomes even more critical for AI.
Absolutely. Persistent silos mean wasted AI resources, biased models, AI that doesn't actually support strategy.
And AI could worsen silos. If business adopts tools without tech input.
Big danger. Incompatible systems, data silos, mirroring failed agile adoptions that focused only on tools, not transformation.
But AI could be a bridge.
Yes. Think prompt-driven collaboration. Business and tech working together using natural language AI platforms, defining needs, prototyping.
Fostering shared understanding from the start, like Agile's daily collaboration principle.
Exactly. AI can also automate routine coding, freeing developers for innovation.
And maybe empower business teams to do some analysis or simple tasks directly, with guidance.
With guidance, yes. Plus, AI can create real-time feedback loops, enhance transparency, maybe even tackle that single source of truth problem with data.
But tech alone isn't enough.
Never. It needs a cultural shift, moving beyond departmental thinking to a holistic customer value focus.
Without that culture change, AI adoption fails.
Risks becoming another failed transformation, yes. The key is integrating Agile Foundation's cross-functional teams, feedback, customer focus for product services, with a clear shared AI vision.
Long term, could roles even merge? Business and implementation.
It's possible. Facilitated by AI tools, upskilling, business strategists using AI insights directly, tech teams orchestrating AI aligned with goals.
Like those teal organizations with fluid roles.
That kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Practical first steps. Business and tech collaborating openly on an AI automation policy, setting expectations, focusing on value.
Cross-functional discovery workshops to build empathy.
Crucial. Early success signs. Less friction, voluntary collaboration, better understanding of each other's challenges.
Medium term, say 1-2 years. Redefining roles.
Blending skills, more fluid structures, joint training on prompt-driven AI tools, embedding feedback loops, transparency.
Progress indicators.
Yeah.
Business teams creating value with AI. Tech teams suggesting AI-driven business ideas.
Exactly. The long game is that deep cultural shift. Incentives rewarding shared outcomes. Company success.
Leadership modeling is key.
Essential. Modeling collaborative, agile-first behavior. Team structures might evolve too.
Long-term success looks like seamless idea to execution flow.
Natural cross-functional teams forming around customer needs. Decisions driven by that shared customer focus.
What are the big pitfalls to avoid here?
Implementing AI without fixing culture, repeating agile mistakes. Deploying AI without clear alignment to business goals. Unrealistic hype over value.
Creating new AI silos.
Yes, and treating AI as just tech off the shelf without the mindset shift.
So the old divide was a hindrance. Agile product service management started fixing it.
And AI can complete the task, but only with deliberate effort, building on agile collaboration, requiring that strong collaborative culture. The old ways just aren't sustainable with AI accelerating things.
So reflect. How collaborative is your organization? Are you consciously building a culture where AI amplifies collaboration?
Because bridging that gap unlocks AI's power and creates workplaces where strategy and execution are truly unified, focused on the customer.
Okay, so to bring this deep dive toward a close, the central message feels really clear.
Active listening isn't just a soft skill. It's fundamental, essential for navigating conflict, fostering respect, ensuring collaboration succeeds.
Especially as AI becomes more woven into our work.
Exactly.
We've looked at some practical techniques you can start using, hopefully, today to listen more actively.
And emphasize building that culture of understanding and psychological safety.
AI brings unique challenges, yes, but also opportunities for communication. We need to be mindful interacting with it to protect our human connection.
And AI can help bridge that business implementation divide, building on agile product and service management principles.
But only with that intentional cultural shift.
It always comes back to the people and the culture.
So we really encourage you, the listener, to reflect on your own communication habits. How does your organization handle conflict? Approach AI integration?
And if you want to explore these concepts further, dig into the original source material.
Please do. We warmly invite you to click on the links provided right there in the description to access the full video presentations.